Well, hey everybody, thanks for coming back to episode 2 of Sportz Asylum. I'm Pete Loaff. With me I have LJ.
Hey, what's up everyone? Hope you had a great weekend. We're ready. We got a lot to talk about.
I can't wait. I'm super excited about our second episode. We got a lot of stuff to cover. We're going to talk about, obviously, the Chiefs. We're going to talk about some NFL, some odds and ends. We also have a special treat today. We got ScottieK with us. He's our college insider, and we're going to talk a little bit of college football as well. But before we get to that, like what you hear?
Want to hear more? Be sure to subscribe and smash that like button.
Come join, be an inmate with the rest of us. Hey, before we sit down and we talk about the Chiefs, I want to introduce the real ScottieK. Scottie's our new college football insider, and he's here to give us great insight. On YouTube, you can look Scottie up at the real ScottieK. That's at ReelScottYK, as in strikeout. Hey, Scott, thanks for joining us.
I'm doing great, Loaff. Appreciate you and LJ letting me join you this week. I'm looking forward to discussing a little bit of college football, giving my 2 cents into the NFL. As a Giants fan, I don't have a lot to celebrate most weeks, but if you happen to go out and look at my YouTube channel, you're going to find a lot of camping videos where I travel around Kansas and Missouri and just have fun.
That's awesome, Scottie. We're really glad you're here, and really looking forward to see what you bring to the podcast.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what you do now that you're chugging that beer.
Yes, I have myself a little brewski going, a little beverage, as you'll realize if you go to my channel.
Yeah, the unofficial sponsor today is Garage Beer. As we go on later on in the show, we will have a little feature about that where we'll see if it's better than American's Worst. All right, so this week we played against the Bengals. John, why don't you tell us about it?
So Josie and the Pussycats come to town. As usual, it's a stress-filled nail-biter. A few thoughts. Butker, worth every penny. No one's more clutch. Kingsley really struggled all game long, and Cincinnati's defensive coordinator really needs a head coaching gig. I'm so tired of going up against this guy's defense. That's 2 weeks in a row that tight ends have lit up the D, but we did hold them to only 320 yards this week, so that is an improvement over last week. We were outplayed, but not outscored. And a win is a win. I'll take them any way we can get them, especially against the Pussycats. 2-0, baby. Let's go.
Hell yeah. And anytime we beat the Bengals in Burrowhead, it's a good thing.
Yes, this was like the 5th time I think Mahomes and Burrows have gone against each other and faced off at Burrowhead Stadium. So now that they just tied it up 2-2 in the regular season and 1-1 in the postseason. So it's always been a tight race between the two teams.
Yeah, I don't know why they call it Burrowhead. He's only won here once. It was a one game, admittedly, it's the AFC Championship game, but it's the only time he's won here. He's lost here twice. So I think the mystique of the Burrowhead is just, it was never a legit thing.
I'm sure they wished they never said it in the first place. I will say they talk a lot of shit, and they backed it up for the most part this week. I mean, the one-handed grab, I mean, that's ridiculous. Interception. I mean, that's the only way he saved face for getting burnt earlier in the game. So that was a plus. Listen, you just played 2 of the toughest teams in the AFC, and you beat them. Yep. You shouldn't be ashamed for winning 2 tough games. I think they played gritty. They had a lot of mistakes. I'm sure here in a second we're going to talk about the tackle situation, the running back situation, certain things like that. But, again, they're 2-0. They're in the driver's seat. So...
Yeah, those are teams you definitely need to get the wins over. That'll come in handy down tiebreaker scenarios for the playoffs and things like that, because both those teams will be vying for playoff spots come December. So it's a great way to get the season started. We do have some concerns at left tackle, I would say, that emerged from that game. And then we also have a concern at running back due to the injury to Pacheco's. But I think a lot of teams would love to be in our position.
Absolutely. You not only are Baltimore and Cincinnati 0-2, you got the tiebreaker on them. So you're 3 up, right? You're legitimately 3 up after 2 games. It's amazing. So I love the position they sit in. Now, again, injuries have besieged us already. Hollywood Brown, pretty much out for the season. Now, you don't know if Pacheco's even going to come back. He's got a broken leg. I mean, we'll see 6 to 8 weeks, but, next man up for both of that. So the offense is already tore up.
The offense is definitely tore up, but one good thing the Chiefs have going for them is that they have a phenomenal defense, maybe the best in the league right now. I was a little worried with Snead being traded at the end of last year, but McDuffie is a stud.
In Spags we trust.
He locked down Chase and made him look like a chump.
Yeah, I think, 2 catches? Is that what I saw?
He only gave up 1 catch for 4 yards.
Yeah, I mean, and he got under his skin. Let's just say that. Right?
Absolutely.
So if you're thinking that LJ can't be replaced, Snead, you got him. I mean, look, you just went and saw McDuffie get under his skin so much that he threw a flag and potentially helped them lose that game. It shows you the Chiefs have composure and most teams don't. That's 2 weeks in a row.
Yep. And it couldn't happen to a better player. I mean, he's just absolutely unlikable.
Well, we got a special for him in a little bit.
Yeah, I got a question for you guys. So there was a time in the game, I forget which quarter it was, but the Chiefs were down at like the 2-yard line, like 1st and goal at the 2. And they ran 3 times and never once put in Steele to try to go there. Like, what are your thoughts about that? Why wouldn't you have at least for 1 down handed the ball off to Steele and let him just pound it?
I mean, I would. So I'm with you. Like, yeah, he's the hammer. Pacheco, I'm not trying to, get down on him, but he's never been that 1-yard guy. In the 3 years he's been here, he's never been the 1-yard guy. He can run people over, but he's never the one that just squeaks through. So I agree. I think Steele should have been out there.
Oh, it was absolutely a missed opportunity. Right. We should have at least gave him a crack. I would have done 2, maybe 3 times with him. And I like having that Chanot back in there as a lead blocker.
Yeah, absolutely. It looked great having him out there because, you hear stories about that guy and his strength and all the things he can do. So it's great to see him.
Yeah, I think the Chiefs definitely have to get their red zone offense in tune quicker this year than they did last year and not waste those 2 first and goals to field goals.
Well, yeah, I can't see them, like, when they went 1st, 2nd, 3rd down and they didn't get it, you can't go for it on 4th. You just got to take the field goal. And no matter how much you want to, like, you just had 3 tries. If you can't get it in 3, you might as well take the 3 points.
I sadly agree. But, yeah, there's a part of me that wanted to go for it still.
Of course. It depends on the opponent.
The Madden player in me.
Right. It just depends on the opponent, really. So then that turns to, Kingsley, he was out there doing his best. But he basically was a turnstile to Trey Hendrickson, right? I mean, if Henderson was doing an outside move, he was beating him. If he was doing an inside move, he was beating him. If we were coming and giving him the chip, Henderson would go inside the chip. So Kingsley played bad. Let's just say that. But Henderson played great as well.
He's an elite pass rusher in the league. We will have problems with Max Crosby too if Kingsley's out there again and he doesn't improve.
Yeah, I think the running backs are definitely going to have to chip. There was a lot of times when Pacheco did not chip at all. He just ran past him like he was supposed to chip and then went out to the flats to get the ball. And you play Crosby and some of these other elite defensive ends, you got to chip.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. Don't we have 4 tight ends on the roster?
Absolutely.
So wouldn't you want to go into 11 personnel and have tight ends on both sides? I mean, Travis is going to go out. You got 4 tight ends. I mean, obviously, maybe that's what they're going to be doing in the future now.
It's just tough with their tight ends because it's such an integral part of their offense where their tight ends really are receivers and they have to get out and go. I mean, it was late into the game before you even heard Travis Kelce's name mentioned.
Yeah, we saw more Taylor than Travis.
For sure.
That's never a good thing.
Yeah, and then when Travis does get a good play, it gets called back, right? And you could see it on his face right after it. He was like, God, darn it, shucks. That's exactly what he said. I saw it coming out of his mouth. Yeah. He said shucks.
Yeah. Tony 2.0.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure that's exact verbiage he used.
Yeah, so then we're there. It's a close game. Bengals, they're going down the field. They're trying to win the game, and then all of a sudden, Chase gets tangled up with our friend McDuffie. I don't know what the hell he did. I know they think it was an illegal block, an illegal takedown on what he did, and he was all pissed off about that. But, I mean, even Burrow came over and couldn't calm him down.
Yeah, I think that he thought that he was that hip tackle.
Right.
What the NFL is really trying to crack down on this year. But when you watch the replay in slow motion or at speed, it was far from a hip toss tackle. Like he's just a crybaby. That's all there is to it.
That's without a doubt.
Absolute diva. And couldn't have a nicer guy. Can't stand the guy. Yeah.
He went straight to the ref, right? The ref
Absolutely.
gave him a chance. He was fucking probably dropping F-bombs, doing whatever he can, and he let him do it once, and then Burrow pushed him away, and he came back. As soon as he came back, the ref's like, I'm not putting up with this shit anymore. So at that point, then he kills him, right? What was it? 3rd and 30? Okay, people who listen to this show, I'm not exactly the most factual person, but so then we get the ball back.
3rd and long.
3rd and long. We get the ball back. We get to 3rd down, right? We make a completion down the middle of the field. We're in field goal range. It gets called back. Everybody's like, oh, shit. You know the whole world wants the Chiefs to lose, right?
Absolutely. We're the villains.
4th and 16. Patrick goes back. Hendrickson gets around the edge again. But Patrick steps up, throws in, goes down the middle to Rice. Rice gets popped early. PI. 1st and 10. Chiefs. Field goal range.
Yeah, as soon as I saw the flag, I thought, here we go again. Another week of people complaining about the refs carrying the Chiefs. But that's absolutely pass interference.
Well, and I mean, they just got the penalty on the Chiefs right before that to get us in 4th and 16.
Exactly.
Yeah, there was no question that was pass interference. And if he wouldn't have hit, I think it was Rice who was the receiver.
Yep.
Rice has done nothing but show his skills all of this year so far. It was a helmet high ball. He was going to be able to reach his hands out and grab that ball. Even if he would have got hit on time, Rice still would have came down with that ball. So it was a great call, in my opinion. So I was very happy with it.
Yeah, he got better at everything but driving, right?
Well, he drives pretty fast. Avoiding cars he's not too good at.
I was shocked when they got him on the streak for the touchdown.
Right.
You know, and that was what impressed me, because he seems like more of a over-the-middle kind of slant.
Rack up yards after the catch.
Yes, yeah.
Absolutely.
The total, what was it, the 49ers or the West Coast typical, get you a big guy, a yak returner?
Yeah, and I've heard people say that the defender is playing the ball. Really? Then why did it hit him in the helmet?
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
If you're playing the ball, it don't hit you in the helmet. It hits you in the hands. It don't hit you in the helmet. So that argument, that holds no water either. I'm overhearing it. We don't have to justify referees. They need to cope.
It was closer to a targeting call than a pass interference, in my opinion. He hit him with the crown of his head right in the back of Rice's head to get the call. So he should have been ejected from the game, in all honesty. But
well, at that point, it just turns into Harrison Butker again. Now, honestly, tell me how nervous you were when he got up there to line up for that kick.
Not at all.
no nerves at all.
Me neither. And it's funny how we've gotten so spoiled that he's got ice in his veins, and you know one of these days he's going to miss. It's just like one of these days Patrick's not going to pull it out. I'm not looking forward to those days, but it is. I mean, ice in his veins, and watching the expression on the sideline is fucking priceless.
Yeah, I want him to have success just because of all the controversy he had at the beginning of the season. It's just one more slap into the face of the people who don't like him.
Right, yeah.
I'm all about that.
Yeah, I agree. Best kicker in the league, absolutely. The Chiefs did the right decision by giving him an extended contract.
For sure.
I think there's a lot of people that were angry about that, but the Chiefs don't listen to those people, and they haven't came and asked them to change the name of the team.
I think those are the people who aren't in the kitchen cooking. I think those are probably the people.
Right. So, yeah, great game.
All right.
So one piece of news that I did see come out about the Chiefs over the weekend is that the Chiefs have replaced the Dallas Cowboys as the #1 hated team in the NFL.
I mean, winning does it, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we love it. We love it. We're going to go, and we're going to get a message from our new sponsor, and we'll be right back.
Are you a guy who seems to get hurt every week? Do you always have some sort of lingering issue keeping you from doing your job? Then this is just the product for you. Burrow's Band-Aids. Burrow's Band-Aids come complete with finger splints, wrist bandages, knee bandages, more knee bandages, and even more knee bandages. Don't forget the ever-popular Glass Joe full-body bandage. It feels so good that when you put on a Burrows Band-Aid, you will beg to go back in for another injury. And if you buy now, we'll throw in our new Chase Cream. Chase Cream only works when it wants to, but it does give overwhelming self-confidence, even in defeat. Call now, we'll double your order. That's 1-800-NO-RINGS. Again, that's 1-800-NO-RINGS. 1-800-NO-RINGS. Call now.
All right, everybody, we're back. That's our new sponsor, Burrows Band-Aids. And you know what? Look how prophetic that was when you listen to that and you hear the Chase Cream.
I need me some Chase Cream.
I know. He must have been using it, and he must have been using a lot.
Yeah, he was using a lot.
All right. So we'll go back. Let's get back to talking a little bit about the Chiefs, okay? Pacheco got hurt. Another injury, right? They didn't replace Hollywood because I think they have enough on the roster with bringing in Juju before the year. Now, Pacheco's hurt, and they're looking at options. You got Prince down there on the practice squad, which is probably the easiest and safest move to make. Or they can go out in the free agent market. Who are you hearing, John, that their Chiefs have been talking to?
Well, I saw that Kareem Hunt's coming in for a visit tomorrow.
Isn't that crazy?
Yep. That would be I mean, he's not the guy he was in 2018. It's not even close. I'm sure nobody is 6 years later in the league, especially at a running back position. He's a good player. We'll see what he's got. No reason not to kick the tires, I would think. I'd be in favor of it if the Chiefs are willing to forgive what he did in the past. I'm good with it.
So he's paid his penance, I guess.
In my opinion, he's been in Cleveland for 6 years.
Well, yeah, I guess that's
I mean, just the fact that he's been in Cleveland for 6 years, he deserves a second chance with the Chiefs, in my opinion. They definitely need to do something because Steele, I'm really big on Steele. I like him, but he's not the guy that's gonna run down
1,400 yards.
Yeah, he's not gonna do that. He's gonna be the guy that's gonna put his head down and get you 1 to 3.
Right.
But he's not gonna be the guy that's gonna keep pressure off Mahomes so that he can hit receivers.
Yeah, he's more fullback than running back.
I agree with that. I can't see him carrying the rock 20 times a game and being the primary back for this team.
But I can see him carrying it 10 times a game.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And there's other guys out there too. You got Boston Scott.
Yep.
You got
Darius Harris.
Jerick McKinnon. But we need a running back that can carry the load. And Jerick's more of a kind of what Perrine is. We already got that. So we do need someone that can actually carry the load. I wonder if the Texans would be willing to move on from Pierce.
Yeah, but I mean, even in his first year, he started out good, and then he went to trash. I had in fantasy, so you know what I mean? He's nothing special. And he had C.J. Stroud throwing the ball, and he couldn't make holes. There's no immediate answer out there. You're not going to go out there and get Emmitt Smith to come on your team, right? It's not going to happen. You're going to have to do running back by committee.
So I still think Kareem Hunt's probably our best bet then.
Then maybe so. I mean, I don't have any problem. I mean, the guy didn't lie to me, so I could care less. Honestly, this is a Clark Hunt thing, right?
Right.
And honestly, it looks like he doesn't have any. There's a lot less tread off the last couple of years, so you may be able to squeeze something out of him.
And don't you think you're going to get in his very, very best? I mean, he would do anything to make his time in Kansas City right again, I think.
Well, I imagine the reason he's in Kansas City is not about his abilities and to see if he's healthy. I imagine it's to talk to him and see if his mind's right. I would imagine that's the only reason he's in Kansas City.
Yeah, I suspect that could be true. They definitely got to find out where his head's at, what he's thinking, how he's progressed as a human since his time here. But I hope they give him a shot. Because we definitely need somebody.
Yeah, that's for sure. And then, but really, now, is running back the biggest problem? Because, I mean, honestly, if you were to say, and this sounds brutal, but if you were to say, which person could you afford to lose most, I guess? Which person of the 11 on the offense, if you had to pick one to take out of there, which one would you take out, right? And Pacheco would be at the top of that list. And you know what I mean? Running backs are replaceable more than I think. you also know how I feel about Pacheco, so it's not for me. I don't think you're replacing a world beater. You're replacing a guy who just puts his head down and runs forward and gets some good yardage because he runs hard. That's why he doesn't get first downs.
He's a little bit more than that.
Okay, and he catches the ball, and he takes a beating, and I'm not trying to get down on him with a broken leg, but I also don't think we're talking about Christian McCaffrey here.
Well, obviously, there's only one Christian McCaffrey.
I know.
And he's on the IR, too.
He sure is cute.
And he's on the IR, too, so.
Yeah, well, that's true.
I mean, I do believe that the Chiefs could go without a running back in replacing him, but in order to do that, the line has to step up because it's going to be Patrick Mahomes, and you got to protect him because he can't keep scrambling and running down the field and taking hits. Like, he just can't do it because if we lose Patrick, Wentz, good quarterback, not Patrick Mahomes. There's one Patrick Mahomes in the NFL. We happen to have him, and he has to be protected.
So what's the answer? Is it he just had a rough game and it was a really good pass rusher and they had to pull him out of the game because, he was just getting beat? I mean, and obviously they were in his head. They bring out somebody to chip on the right and he lets the guy go on an inside move, right? He should have been stepping inside, and the only way that Hendrickson should have been going, technically, is to his left, right? So, I mean, there were some just plain technical mistakes, obviously, that, again, I think it was in his head. I don't think it's the end of his career by any means, but I do think they're probably looking at free agent options.
Yeah, that's a good chance. He definitely struggled a lot. It looked like a lot. He thinks his technique. I heard him in the interview after the game. He said that these things can be corrected, and that he needs to focus more, considering what an honor it is to be the left tackle for this team. And he's right. He does need to focus more. He needs to be better. He has to be better.
Yeah. Talk less, win more.
Right.
Exactly.
So that's enough about the Chiefs. We've already beat the crap out of it. We're going to talk about their upcoming game and the Falcons here in just a little bit. So a couple of things we like to talk about is what the teams in the division do. Raiders do us a huge favor, right? They go out, they beat Baltimore, right? Who thought? Like, the books made a killing this week. Like, the favorites didn't cover. The underdogs came out of nowhere. Like, who expected Arizona to go in and just beat the piss out of St. Louis,
Or New Orleans to beat the hell out of Dallas.
Oh, my God. Dallas looked like the worst team in the NFL.
That was awesome. As a Giants fan, I got to tell you that anytime Dallas loses, it's a happy day.
Yeah, I agree, and I am one of the people
America feels the same.
that still hates the America's team, right? We're Chiefs fans. It's not going to replace it with me, but I hate the America's team. Hate in a sports kind of way, right? I hate Jerry Jones. Don't want anything to happen to him, but don't like the man. You know what I'm saying? So, yes, definitely Cowboys losing. And, I mean, is there even a question if you re-sign Dak at this point?
They just gave him a record contract.
Yeah. They just gave him $60 million a year.
That's right.
Crazy.
That's right. I thought he was still playing on the franchise tag.
Nope.
Oh, man. He just took the money and just said, I'm going to mail it in from now on. I am just going to take the money. I got my best friend Ezekiel Elliott back. He's back on the team, and neither one of us is worth a shit. I like that Dallas plan. That's a good plan.
Yeah. I mean, if they can't make it in the regular season, Dak's proven that he can't make it in the postseason. So, I mean.
Neither could Romo.
I just think
Right.
The NFC side of football is really up in the air about who's going to be the best team when everything shakes out.
Yeah, you thought Detroit was going to be up there.
And they shit the bed.
Yeah, absolutely they did. And, I mean, Dan Campbell comes out there, and I mean, was he crying in that, I think, in his press conference about how bad a job he did coaching?
Yeah, he used a lot of Chase cream, I think, on Sunday, and that'll be the last time that he makes that mistake.
Chase cream. All right, we better trademark that shit.
Right? Yes, It's surprising some of the teams that got off to 2-0 starts, too. You get Vikings, Saints, Seahawks, and Bucks.
Jesus Christ.
And the Steelers.
All teams you thought were going to suck. Yeah, who would have thought Russell Wilson and Justin Fields would be 2-0 and Baltimore and Cincinnati would be 0-2?
Yeah, look at the Steelers with Fields starting 2-0 Now, I would say that he's got a really stout defense behind him, and that's really been the game changer for him. But is Fields the future? When is Wilson going to get entered into this whole thing, or do they just spend a lot of money on somebody to be a backup?
I would say backup because I think Tomlin is a really, really good coach. And I think once he got his hands on him, he knew what he had. I mean, the guy doesn't lose no matter how much trash they put on the field. He still goes 8-9 or 9-8. You know, he does. Does he have one losing season in 15 years?
Yeah, something like that. It's crazy. And they're not paying Russell Wilson crazy money this year. I think he's on a league minimum contract.
Oh, that's right.
Denver's paying him right this year.
Oh,
We love you.
Yeah,
we
thanks,
love you,
Denver.
Denver.
Yeah, that was a great move, Denver.
And speaking of Denver, doesn't Bo Nix look amazing?
He's awesome. And they're an 0-2 start. Love it.
Yeah, and I mean, they don't look like they're going to get any better.
No, they
I
really
think they'll
don't.
be thinking about trading some people away here soon.
I really don't understand why NFL coaches don't realize that the success rate of quarterbacks coming out of college generally foul. They sit for a year to learn the system before they throw them to the fire.
Absolutely.
The game is so much faster. We're seeing it with Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
he started right where he left off from college. He's just heaving the ball downfield, and if they get it, they get it. If they don't, they don't.
Real quick, coin flip. Is he a bust? Is he not a bust, LJ? I know it's early,
I mean,
but
it's
first
2
impressions.
games?
Hey,
Two
man,
games? You
we're
want
doing-
me to-
We're doing a podcast here.
All right. Not a bust after 2 games.
I'm going to go with he's a bust.
I am going to go with bust as well. And I know it's 2 games, but there's, I don't know, things that I hear, that I've heard on TV and whatever that you just don't know. And I don't know if I completely believe he's 100% football. That would be my fear.
And honestly, for me, it may be just that he comes off as being so arrogant as a rookie that I just want him to fail, and maybe that's why I want him to bust. Because he just thinks that he's the shit, and he hasn't proven nothing in the NFL yet.
Didn't you hear in the draft he was the second coming of Patrick Mahomes?
I mean, the only thing that would be better for the Chiefs is if he was playing in the AFC.
Yes.
Right.
Bring him here. Put him on the Raiders.
Yeah, I think the Raiders need him.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't care if the kid does become a bust. No skin off my back, basically. But I don't think he is yet.
Okay. So,
Now,
2
Bryce
to
Young.
1. Well, we already know Bryce Young's a bust. It don't take much long.
my
It
goodness.
don't take much. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's hard to watch. I mean, that is really hard to watch.
Right.
Maybe the Chiefs should reach out to the Panthers and see if they got a running back that they could trade for right now.
Well, I don't want to get into San Diego and all this, but I saw some stuff on Joe Alt that he is like already looks like the best tackle in the NFL.
San Diego.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. My bad. L.A. The Chargers. So he's already looking good. So, all right. So coming up, guys, we have an episode where I'm going to get John and Scott to drink a little beer. Last week, we drank some garage beer and we gave our opinions. This week, we got a whole bunch of nice American domestic beers. Some of your favorites like Milwaukee's Best, Natty Light, and some others just like that. We're going to do a blind taste test and see if garage beer tastes better than America's worst. After this.
Well, hey, like what you hear?
Want to hear more? Be sure to subscribe and smash that like button.
Come join, be an inmate with the rest of us.
All right, we're back. All right, I know these guys have been looking forward to this for a long time. A week, I think. So what we're going to do here is John and I drank the beer last week. This week, we are going to see if they can tell the difference between America's best/worst beers. We've got Miller Lite. We've got Natty Light. We've got Milwaukee's Best Ice. We've got Busch Light. And we got Garage. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to each one of these guys. I got it labeled A, B, C, D, and E. We got producer Sean in here. He's going to tally everything. We got Creepy on the board who's taking care of everything else. And we're going to find out if they can tell the difference between I don't even know how to say it. Shitty beer and good beer.
Cheap beer,
Yeah. Okay. Cheap beer.
except Miller Lite, which
All right. So if you guys want to, you guys are going to rank these 1 through 5. However you decide to keep that tally is up to you. But after you get through all 5 of them, you need to give us the ranking of A, B, C, D, and E. All right? So
Sounds simple enough.
let's start with A. Each one of you just grab a beer.
Thank you, sir.
You know, do what you want. Smell, look, taste. Down the hatch. Guzzle, guzzle, guzzle. The look on their faces says it's not delicious.
I would say it's Bud
warm.
Light,
It's warm.
but my boobs aren't growing,
Yeah, and we don't have Bud Light.
so that's good.
Yeah.
They're big enough as it is.
Yeah, it's not Yingling, so you would know that. That's why we don't have Yingling in there. Okay, so John, make your note. Let us know. Or LJ, I should say.
Yes, you should.
That was terrible.
Oh, there's more.
I can't wait.
All right, let's move on to B. B is another beer. It's one of the 5.
I feel like I got to lick a dog's ass to get the taste out of my mouth from that last one.
Well, Sean's in here. He says you can take a lick. All right, get it down, fellas. Go. Let's do this. As they get it down, I can see the joy amongst the both of them.
I mean, that one's water.
Yeah?
Yeah. If you, for the viewers,
Viewers, are they seeing with their ears?
yeah, picture this. I'm going to explain it to you. If you have a horse drinking out of a barrel of Yingling, what they piss is this beer.
Well, so I'm saying that's probably going to be pretty low on your list. Up next is letter C. The letter C.
C.
See how delicious it is? Yeah. Let us know. I would be participating, ladies and gentlemen, but, I don't particularly care to drink, so I'm letting these guys do it. LJ, what do you think? Give us a little bit of critique. You watch enough Food Channel stuff. You should be able to do this.
I feel like my palate's changed a lot since I was a teenager and
We drank this stuff?
Yeah, and drank this stuff back in my 20s. Yeah, it's
My palate's changed too. Scott?
Yeah, it's definitely not back when you're 14 and 15 down in a case of Blatz, that's for sure.
Well, we would buy a 6-pack of Bud Light and then a case of Natty. So, you drink the Bud Light first. Everybody has one, and then you get the bad ones down after that.
Drink a lot of Schlitz growing up, too, because my dad didn't think we would drink it.
Hey, the funny thing happened. This happened when Joel did this earlier in the day. The more the beer went down, the less you guys drank. As you get to the letter D, which we're at, the first 2, there's not a drop in them. Get to the third one, they both left a little in the glass. This one, it looks like they just want to sip. Scott, that face did not look all that well. LJ, is it tart?
a little tart.
It's a little tart?
A little tart.
A little tart. That's a good description. Okay. Delicious. I can tell. I can tell by the look on your face that the both of you thought that one was terrible. Yeah. One more. Here you go. Let me give this one to you, ScottieK. Mr. LJ, here's your last drink. Uncle Creepy, you might be coming in here in a little bit to do yours as well, so you better watch out. Oh. At this point, they all taste the same, I would imagine.
Right.
This one's pretty watery as well.
Yeah, well, again, cheap American beer, that is usually the first thing in it. I mean, I didn't put Bud Light in here because that's too easy to tell. That is drinking water. I heard you guys drinking that one. I heard that going down somebody's throat. Yeah.
That was probably me.
Well, oh yeah, that's what I like to hear. We get some of that ASMR in here. Can you hear me? Does it make you happy?
No.
Okay, everybody. Okay, back to this. All right, so you guys
cut that.
have your rankings down. Now, Sean, can you come over here? Okay, we're going to sit down here, and we're going to figure this. We're going to write these down, and then when they tell us which is which, we'll tell them what it was. Okay, A, what did you choose for A?
I chose, like, the beer?
No, the number.
A was number 3 for me.
Number 3, A, for Scott. LJ?
2.
2. They liked the first one, or maybe they didn't know what they were getting into. Okay, Sean, are we ready for B? Yeah, he says B. LJ?
4.
Scott?
I also had that as 4.
Wow, 44 right there. All right, C. Hit me, Scott.
C was my number 1.
You're number 1.
Same.
All right. Well, let's hope you guys hit the jackpot on that one. That's the only one that you guys didn't finish. Huh, that's kind of funny.
Didn't have to.
It was
Good enough that you didn't have to.
It's good enough that I liked it.
All right, D. Hit me, John. LJ?
5.
D was also 5 for me.
Wow. So that's going to leave E to be
2 for me.
And 3 for me.
and 3 for me. All right. So Sean's got the totals here. So do you guys want to just take a quick guess on which one's which? Did you write them down just to see? Just for yourself? What do you think A is?
I had Busch Light.
What do you think A is? Did you guess?
I did not,
Okay, that's fine.
but I would say it's probably Busch Light.
What was it, Sean? Milwaukee's Best Light.
Ice.
Oh, Milwaukee's Best Ice.
Seriously? That was my second?
Yep. Let's talk about B. What do you think B was?
I had Natty Light for B.
Same.
Correct.
Correct. They both got Natty Light right. All right, number 3.
It was a toss-up for me between Miller Lite and Garage for this one, so I went with Garage.
Okay.
I'm thinking it's Garage too, but
Miller Lite.
Miller Lite. You both missed on Garage. So that means D was...
I don't know what my other options are.
Light.
No, Light's already been in.
I know, but you didn't pick it. You picked that as
Oh,
Garage.
you're right. Surely is. What's the other one?
Scott?
I had D as my ice.
That was your ice?
Yeah.
What was it, Sean?
D is officially the worst one of the 5 because you both picked 5.
Right.
It's Garage.
Wow.
Oh, that's too good.
Damn.
I can't wait to tell Trav. All right.
Sorry, Travis.
So what's E?
Jason.
I had Miller Lite for E.
It's Busch Light.
Busch Light.
Busch Light. So through a blind taste test, between you two guys, let me go over this again. Natty Light, Milwaukee's Best Light, Busch Light, light beer from Miller, and Garage, you both said Garage was the worst. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Based on what you told me, yes, that is correct.
And you both picked light beer from Miller as number 1.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Well,
Probably didn't deserve to be. Miller Lite didn't deserve to be in this competition.
well, apparently Garage did.
Yes. Apparently it did.
Well, we've got some other totals that we got to get
Wow.
into this. The producers have weighed in.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm shocked by these results.
And next week, we'll give you the final totals on all the people that weigh in on this, not just John or LJ and ScottieK. We'll get everybody else in here, and then we'll get the totals on the next episode.
Unreal. Still in shock of this.
How you guys feeling?
I'm happy that I picked Miller Lite as my favorite out of that group.
True. I mean, I'd been really mad if I picked Beast or Natty Light or something. I'll be like, what's up?
I'll be like, what the hell am I spending all this money for?
Like, shit, I need to go back to drinking the stuff we were drinking when we were kids.
Right? Yeah.
Well, I think it's a great experiment. I think it's fucking awesome that you guys did it. I think it's fun.
Well, I don't think we need to compare garage beer against like the top beers then.
Well, I think we need to do this again, but we need to do it on video.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's get better beers.
All right.
Please.
Maybe some whiskey chasers.
Some whiskey.
Or something.
I hate whiskey, so that'll be a good video.
Good God. Were you all Ubering home?
Yeah. we got one recliner in the studio.
Right.
Just snuggle.
Joel's got some fighting cock in there he wants everybody to drink. He says it's trash. It's whiskey. Just so you know.
I thought that was a Bengals thing here for a second.
Here's our new segment, Fish a Minute with ScottieK. Hey, Scotty, how'd it go?
Call some fish.
That's our Fishing Minute. Don't forget, our Fishing Minute was brought to you by Burroughs Band-Aids, 1-800-NO-RINGS. That's 1-800-NO-RINGS. Back to you.
All right. We're back. The whole reason that Mr. ScottieK came in to start talking to us today was college football. He's our insider. He loves it. He watches it. He breathes it. So, Scott, why don't you give us a little bit of information?
Yeah, college football week 3 just wrapped up. Honestly, there was nothing really to see because Penn State was on a bye.
Oh,
So I just have to throw that out there. Probably the biggest news coming out of the weekend was the Heisman frontrunner, Quint Ewers, suffered an ab strain.
Huh.
Me and Pete have had conversations about the Texas quarterbacks. They put in Archie Manning for about a quarter and a half, and he went crazy with 4 touchdowns.
That was the first thing I said to you, right? When we talked today. First thing I said was, I see Arch Manning went off.
Yes, 4 passing touchdowns, and he ran for a 67-yard touchdown. Now, it wasn't a great team, but that kid is incredible. I think that he is probably the best Manning quarterback ever.
Wow. That would be saying something because forehead, yeah, he's Peyton, he's a hell of a quarterback.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Eli was clutch as hell when you get him in the big game. He took Brady down twice.
Well, he looks like a Manning. Now, the only thing I do know about him is he's probably freaking hilarious. He's Cooper's kid. Cooper's ridiculously funny.
Right.
The other brothers are funny. Like, obviously, he's one of the best quarterbacks in all college football, and he showed it yesterday. He's just taking his time because he's got Ewers in front of him, and, you know, when you got somebody like that in front of him, you take your time. And you know what? It's probably his dad and his uncles being like, wait your turn. You know what I mean? He could have went and transferred anywhere and played.
Yeah, they weren't playing a tough team, but you know that you're a pretty good backup when the fourth quarter starts and they pull you for the third stringer.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So next week, Ewers is basically week to week with that, but that's a tough injury for a quarterback because core is very important when you're throwing the ball, especially the way he plays. He's a dynamic quarterback. He scrambles. He uses his upper body to throw a lot of balls when he jumps in the air, similar to Patrick Mahomes. He's nothing near Patrick Mahomes, but he could be out for quite some time with that injury, especially if he tries to come back too early in play. And I think he's scared of what might happen if he lets Manning quarterback that team a few times. So
Wally Pipp?
Yeah. Next week they face L.A. Monroe. Should be a no-brainer that you don't play Ewers at all. I mean, why even put him in? I would expect that if they do the right things, that Manning will probably play the first 2 quarters and the third stringer will be in to finish out the game. But it's week 5 when they play a ranked Oklahoma team that we'll have to see. I'm guessing that Ewers will want to get back for that game, and then we'll see how long he'll be there.
Yeah, the Red River rivalry, that should be an excellent game this year.
Absolutely. So what do you got next?
Well, my last question for you guys is if Manning continues to perform lights out, is there going to be a quarterback controversy at Texas?
I don't think there should be. I mean, seniors play, right? That's the way it is. I mean, I don't think it should be, because, especially in college football, right? And I don't think if there is a controversy, I don't think it'll be from him.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. It seems like it's a logical choice to go ahead and bring him back. It's senior year. Next year is Manning's turn.
Yep.
Carry the torch as far as you can this year till he comes back. Get him back healthy, but the job should be his when he comes back.
And I honestly don't think that Manning's the type of individual that would be upset if that were to happen. I think he was redshirted last year. He's got 3 more years ahead of him after this year. He's going to make his mark. He's going to be the dude for 3 years. Right. He's going to the NFL. I don't think that it should be that big of a deal, and I don't think that he'll create the controversy for sure.
Yeah, it's not a matter of if, it's when he goes enters the NFL.
Well, I mean, I'm sure his NIL is through the roof, right? You know, he comes for money. He's got more NIL than probably most anybody in college football, you would think. So I don't see any reason for him to leave.
And he's got a group of family members, from granddad to uncles, and his dad Cooper, that are going to be looking at who's going to have the number 1 pick. And
right.
He's not going to come out early if it's the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, I get your point.
He's going to stay.
Right. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Come out when it's best for you, when you have a little bit of a say on where you go.
Yeah, if you're number 1 and you're a junior or a redshirt sophomore and you're the best player in the draft, then go. Right?
If the team that's drafting is a good fit for you, if that's where you want to go.
Yes, for sure.
Especially now that you're getting paid in college.
Yeah.
They have all the leverage now.
Yeah, but if you yes, absolutely they do. Because if you don't like who's up at the top, you just be like, I'm going back to
college
hang out
ain't so
with some
bad.
girls and make some money.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, they're all driving Lambos now and all that stuff. Those guys down in Georgia, right? 106, that guy got hit. I mean, how many people down there are going to continue to get popped on their football team?
Right.
Hauling ass. I mean, they just got over a lawsuit for, you know, that drunk girl killing somebody.
Yeah, it's scary with the NIL in college football. Not that I don't think that the players should be paid, but there's 22-year-olds that go into the NFL that can't manage their money, and now you're throwing all that at an 18-year-old.
Right.
Like, you're setting them up for failure if you're not giving them some kind of education on managing your money and what to do and who you should associate with. Like, they should all be best friends with me.
Right.
Absolutely. Right.
I'll help them manage their money right into the ground.
Absolutely.
Right to the ground.
So, other news, there were some close games on Saturday that I think are worth mentioning. Well, this one wasn't really close, but it's worth mentioning. Colorado bounced back from their pounding against Nebraska to beat in-state rival Colorado State 28-9. And I don't really care for their quarterback at Colorado with the last name of Sanders, but that Travis Hunter is a beast.
Yeah, he's incredible. I mean, he could be the best corner and the best wide receiver in the draft.
He could be. And now, I don't know if an NFL team will let him play both sides of the ball, but he's a beast on both sides, and he doesn't show fatigue at the end of the game. That's for sure. He's just amazing.
I bet Andy would let him play both sides of the ball.
Absolutely, he would.
I don't think he'll make it to when the Chiefs have a pick.
No. And sadly, the guy I would love to see the Chiefs draft, Luther Burden, he won't be there for when we draft either.
See, now that you're here, let me ask you a question. Is Dion there next year?
I'm not sure if Deion's there much longer past his son's going to the NFL or trying to get to the NFL.
Yeah, that sounds about right to me. I hear rumors that he might be the next Cowboys coach.
See, that's what I wonder. I wonder if he's just sitting there being groomed, and if McCarthy doesn't do it this year, he just goes. He goes with his son. You know what I mean? He goes with his son. His other son leaves early. Travis Hunter. I mean, it sounds like it's being set up for like a movie.
I'm not sure there's more of a lock than if McCarthy doesn't do it this year.
Well, we'll see, because Deion's not very good of a coach.
No, but McCarthy isn't either.
He may be an upgrade for the Giants.
Well, I don't know.
I mean, I'm anticipating Belichick to come next year, straighten everything out, but...
Well, Daboll may be a dick, but he's not an idiot, and you obviously know the problem isn't the coach, right?
No, it's Danny Dimes.
I know, Danny Dimes, yeah, absolutely it
He had a
is.
pretty good game this week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's up and down. He's
That's
very
what I mean.
inconsistent.
This week, yeah.
Yeah, I'd have hated to have been the general manager for the Giants when you do you pay Danny Dimes? Do you let him walk? Because what better option do you have? But honestly, at this point, you've just kind of got to let it go and just maybe draft again.
Yes. I mean, you don't pay somebody a max contract if you don't believe they can win you a Super Bowl. If you just think they're the best thing available and you should do it, or I understand this is the one thing that being us is easy to do, is we don't build relationships with these people. And when the time comes to pay them, we just kick them to the curb, even though they're our buddy. So, I don't know how much of that is, because I know I wouldn't do that to you guys. So it'd be kind of hard for me to do it on somebody on my team.
Exactly. I don't want to be Brett Veach and some of the decisions he has to make. I love the fact that he does such a great job, but he has tough decisions to make every offseason.
Every GM does.
Absolutely.
He's better than most, but yes, every GM is making those tough decisions and cutting those people that they drafted, they brought up, they nurtured like a mother. And then they got to cut them. They'll be like, yo, bro, what is it? You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here?
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
So that's unfortunate for those players, but if you're getting cut from the Chiefs, most times you're getting picked up by somebody else, so it's not that bad.
Yeah, number 16 LSU just managed to squeak past the Gamecocks from South Carolina.
Go Cox!
Yes, 36-33. They scored a touchdown with 1:12 left to go to end the game. I'm not sure that LSU is as good as everybody thinks they are.
I think they are another SEC team, right? I mean, the SEC is so, depending on what your schedule is depending on what you're going to be, right? Missouri's set up this year with a pretty soft SEC schedule. So if they don't capitalize on it, then they're not going to get this chance for another 5, 7, 10 years. And that can happen to LSU, right? I don't know what it is, but they could be getting ready to run the gauntlet.
Yeah, speaking of Missouri, number 7 Missouri came back against a pretty good Boston College team, winning 27-21 in another game that looked like that there was going to be an upset. Boston College, I think, is better than everybody gives them credit for. As a Penn Stater, they got Bill O'Brien. I'm very partial to Bill O'Brien. He came in and saved the Penn State program after the Joe Paterno fiasco.
Yep.
And I just think that he's going to do some amazing things at Boston College if he stays there for long enough to do it.
Yeah, I think you're right. If he stays there long enough to build the team, start to develop those relationships you need in that area, he could absolutely build that team. He was a pretty good NFL coach. He wasn't an absolute failure.
No.
So I think he could absolutely build a good program. And he gave Missouri everything they could handle on this weekend.
We already talked about it. It's not as much being a good coach anymore. It's how much you're paying your team, right? And Bill O'Brien can go up there, but if Boston College isn't paying, Boston School, I'm sure they are. But, I mean, really,
I think they got some money.
I think it has to be a combination of both, right?
Yeah, and I think that Bill O'Brien brings with him the connections to the NFL, and I think to some players, that's the ultimate goal. Money's great, but they know they're going to get paid if they make it to the NFL. And if you have a coach that has insight to different coaches, offensive coordinators in the NFL, that helps your team immensely when you're going out recruiting.
Yeah, Missouri looked good, I thought. I mean, they, first 2 games, obviously, they look great. They shut everybody out. They shouldn't have had a shutout that second game. They just, the other team was going for it on 4th down and all kinds of stuff. But listen, I think it's a great win. I mean, I think Boston College is probably going to get out of the top 25 this week, but they'll be back before the end of the year, and it'll look at like a good win outside of the conference. Because now the conference is coming, and it's just going to be game after game after game of just an hour of getting your ass kicked.
Yeah, you got to be on top every game from this day forward. And you had to do it in that game, too. But the first 2 games were kind of layups. You're right. And this kind of ramped us up to get us prepared for SEC play. Starters actually had to play into the 4th quarter of this game.
Yep.
And the surprise of Saturday night was number 1 Georgia barely surviving against SEC rival Kentucky, 13-12. I thought that Georgia was going down. I really did.
I hate Georgia.
I don't have any hate towards Georgia, but they do this every season, I feel like. They always have that one game during the season against some SEC opponent where they damn near lose one. Last year was Missouri, if I remember right.
Right.
So
I think the last 2 years it was Missouri.
right, they overlook us constantly, which that's cool. I get it. We're not true SEC
Blue blood.
bloods like some of these other programs, and we're the newcomers, but we're not the newest comers. We got OU and Texas now to thank for that. So it'll be interesting.
We'll just have to see if Missouri does have that depth that you need in the SEC to survive, right?
Absolutely. And Luther Burden does not need to lose his cool like he did this last game. He's so lucky he didn't get kicked out of the game, and I ain't never seen 2nd and 59.
I think the good thing for the SEC teams this year is with the 12 playoff format, they're looking at more strength of schedule than win-loss because the SEC teams are just going to beat each other up. So there could be a 3-loss team that's still in the top 12 best teams in America for sure.
It's always going to be like that.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
So the AP came out with their new top 25. I'm only going to go through the top 5 because for time. They have Texas going ahead of Georgia as the number 1 team on the shoulders of Arch Manning. Yeah. Georgia falls to number 2. Ohio State remains at 3. Alabama at 4. And Ole Miss at 5. The ScottieK top 5. I have Texas at 1.
Of course you do.
With Arch Manning. Georgia at number 2. I have Alabama at 3. It pains me to say Ohio State at 4. And I have Tennessee at 5. I just think Tennessee's an incredible team.
I think they have another one of those absolutely soft SEC schedules that I was seeing that they don't really play anybody much. I don't know. I have to look at it, but that was something I just heard on the radio driving back.
They play number 15 Oklahoma next week, by the way.
Oh.
So we'll see what Tennessee really has.
Guess their schedule's not so soft next week, huh?
Yeah. Let's hope they get beat. That's all I can say. And it's weird saying that Oklahoma's an SEC team, which that's just
it's a little strange, but it's a little strange saying we were in the beginning,
right?
So many years ago. What I did notice though on that top 5, both of those top 5s, 4 SEC teams.
Yeah. Well, it's Big Ten sucks.
Well, I mean, I think the Bulls over the last few years have proven that the Big Ten has a hard time. The Big Ten competes really well against the Big Ten, but when you put them into the SEC, they have a hard time competing.
SEC is the SEC. It just is its own. If people don't admit that it's its own beast, then they're just lying to themselves because the 10th best. Like you look at the recruiting every year, right. And it's like you look at the top. Like Missouri will be 13th in the nation, and they'll be 9th in the SEC. It's like crazy how the recruiting works. So, yeah, SEC is deeper than anything else.
It's absolutely a football conference, though, because they don't have near that passion for basketball.
No.
Yeah, so then to end out the college football segment, looking ahead to next week, we have the Pick'ems.
Oh.
I'm going to ask you guys about some games that are coming up, 4 games that are coming up next week. Get your picks, and then we'll see next week how you did. The first game, number 24, the Fighting Illinois. Illini, yeah, whatever. I can't believe they're ranked, but whatever. Against at number 22, Nebraska. Pete.
I'm going to take Mahomes' clone, and I will take Nebraska.
With that?
Dude, he trains with him. It's same agent. It's everything. Like,
I didn't know they trained together.
Yeah, he trains with Patrick Mahomes.
It's a little weird, though.
It is. It's his doppelganger, but
I mean, to go out there and do the whole jump up and down, to get the crowd going before the game, the whole routine, a little weird.
Black shirts are back.
He even cut his hair like Patrick.
I know.
That's weird.
It's just weird, okay? It's just weird.
Listen.
But I don't like
He's probably getting laid a lot.
I mean, that's Tim Waltz weird.
Right? I don't like Illinois, so I guess I'm going to have to go with Nebraska. I don't really like them either, but whatever. Nebraska.
And I'm also going with Nebraska for that game.
So we're not going against the spread, Scott?
No spreads.
Okay.
Thank God.
No.
Next week.
Number 12, Utah, facing number 14, Oklahoma State. LJ.
Give me Oklahoma State.
Didn't OSU just lose this week?
I don't know.
Thanks for being our college football insider.
I don't pay attention to OSU.
I mean, they are Big 12.
It's Oklahoma State and who?
Utah.
I'll take Utah.
And
Big 12 matchup.
I'm going Oklahoma State.
All right.
God, it's weird. Utah's Big 12.
I know. It's weird with all this stuff.
Number 6, Tennessee at number 15, Oklahoma. Loaff.
Tennessee.
LJ?
At Oklahoma?
At Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
And I'm going Tennessee for that one.
All right.
I'm big on Tennessee.
Go Vols.
Maybe you guys can wear your orange for him.
Maybe.
I just want to watch them all beat each other up. And just go on. I could go on forever.
In the final game, number 11, USC at number 18, overrated Michigan.
Okay, well, one thing I will tell you is Lincoln Riley is a bust as a coach, so I'll take Michigan.
LJ.
I'll go with USC.
Oh, well, that's a good analysis. Thanks for that.
I
get you.
Just whatever.
Scott's throwing them at us.
Penn State plays USC later this year, I think in a couple weeks. So I really would like them to lose. However, I can never pick Michigan, so I have to go USC.
All right. Well, I think we all went different directions there. Obviously, I'm going to come out winner.
Probably not.
Well, all I know is our college insider probably should. So we'll see where he is at the end of the year. I think you should throw a couple against the spread in there, too, because I think we're all big boys here, and we just don't pick to win. We pick to win money.
It's hard to keep up on the spreads. They change so much.
All right. So now we got the Atlanta Falcons coming up, changing gears. It's week 3. Chiefs are 2-0. We are really, besides like Pacheco and Hollywood, relatively healthy. We just had basically a bye week. We won this game, and now here comes Atlanta.
Yeah, it should be a good challenge for us. First game on the road this season. It's one of those games you make sure you stay up for. You can easily overlook it considering we play the Chargers the following week, and I know that we're going to be thinking it's easy to look ahead.
Right. What is that, the donut game? Is that what it is?
Something like that. And Andy does a pretty good job of keeping it 1 week at a time and keeping that mantra going for the team, but it's hard not to look ahead to a division rival, and the Chargers being 2-0 also. And Atlanta's been up and down so far. Kirk's looked like he's trying to recover from an Achilles injury, and he's
a mid-30s quarterback. Yeah.
Almost 40 years old. So you don't come back from that quite like you would in your youth. So I suspect Kirk will get better as the season goes along, providing he can hold on to the job, considering they took a rookie quarterback in the first round of the draft
because he was so great,
and they couldn't resist passing up on him because they may never get a draft that high again. Okay, but you immediately started quarterback controversy.
Yeah,
because your fans, as soon as Kirk has couple bad games in a row, they're going to be calling for the rookie. So it'll be interesting. They got a lot of talent though on offense. I don't think their defense is going to be able to slow the Chiefs down though.
Yeah, I just think Kirk Cousins is a good quarterback. I think that it's good that the Chiefs are playing him early in the season because he's got to learn a new offense. He's got new players. You got to get the timing down, and that just takes time. I mean, you can do it in the preseason, but it's not game speed.
Right.
So I think as he gets more and more time with his players in game speed, I think Atlanta's going to do good the second half of the season. I don't think that there'll be that much competition for the Chiefs unless, like LJ said, they overlook this game for the Chargers.
Well, I think Bijan is a handful, right? I mean, this is the best back we're going to see this year, and they're going to pound. I mean, to this point this year, I see the look in your eyes. They do have Pitts was a high pick, the highest tight end ever drafted. Drake London's there. You know, they've got a good offensive line, so they can do things. I just don't know. Like I can already tell you who's I think is going to win. I don't think they have enough to beat us, but I do think they have enough on offense to keep it close.
I agree, and if you have Kyle Pitts, you want to go ahead and start him on your fantasy team. The Chiefs have been getting lit up by tight ends. Kyle Pitts is a really good tight end that's never really broke out yet. I suspect he could have a really big game this weekend simply because every tight end we've played against has had good games against us so far.
Yeah, I see Kyle Pitts as a second-half player, just like Scott was talking. Like when I was thinking fantasy, and I know we don't talk a lot about that, but when I was even thinking in the draft about that stuff, I was like, I think everybody down there in Atlanta is going to be better off the second half of the year than they are the first half of the year, and that is with the Chiefs. Happens with us every year. Like they're stumbling right now. We're just barely getting through games. But you know, by game 8, by game 12, by game 16, it'll be a machine.
Yeah, I could use a blowout or two here soon. I'm just for the stress level.
Yeah, and the Falcons are playing Monday Night Football this week, so they're going to have one less day of preparation going into the game for the Chiefs, and we'll see. I think it'll be a good test of the game tonight to see where the Falcons versus the Eagles are.
Yeah, I mean, the NFC's up for grabs. Nobody's running away with it yet, right? Because I mean, the 2-0 teams. Do we think that those 2-0 teams are really? They're not the 2-0 teams that are supposed to be 2-0. Let's just say that. So, you know, that can turn around real quick. I mean, Sam Bradford is 2-0. Just saying.
Sam Bradford.
Darnell.
I mean,
Darnold.
Sam Darnold.
Okay,
Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold is 2-0.
Agreed, and
He looks like a Bradford.
oddly enough, it was crazy at
Funny.
one point on Sunday, like the top fantasy quarterbacks, the top producers, or just top producing quarterbacks, like Derek Carr, Sam Darnold, and somebody else, and I just like, Daniel Jones. I'm like, this is the oddest list top 3 quarterbacks I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It felt like, Bizarro World or something. I don't know.
Well, Atlanta has they saw New Orleans yesterday. You know what I mean? They know what they got to keep up with.
Right.
New Orleans looks like a juggernaut. They scored 91 points in 2 games, so they look like a juggernaut. So Atlanta's going to try and keep up, and it's hard to do that and lose to the Chiefs. It's a non-conference game. They probably think, if they lose it, it doesn't really count against them all that much. But they want to win. Everybody brings their best against the Chiefs.
That and Tampa's also 2-0.
Yeah.
And so Atlanta's going to really need to win this game to keep pace, or they're going to find themselves 2 games behind 2 different teams in their division. Well, potentially 2 games behind.
Yeah, the Chiefs definitely, regardless of their schedule, every team is coming out against them because they do not want them to three-peat.
Right.
So they're getting the best ball from every team they face this year.
Right.
And we're the measuring stick.
As we have been for years.
Right. I mean, you want to see how you do against a champ. And we're back-to-back champs with the potential for a three-peat. Oh, we're going to get everybody's best.
Yeah. So, that being said, ScottieK, tell me what your prediction for the game is. Score and, obviously I know, I don't know what the spread is right now, but.
I got Chiefs 27-17.
27-17. And why is it 27-17, Scott?
I don't think that Atlanta, with all of their offensive changes going into the year, can compete with the Chiefs' defense. I just think that the Chiefs' defense is going to pose a big problem for Cousins when he's trying to figure everything out. And I think that the more they make him scramble, the more he worries about his foot. And I just think that they're going to lock him down, and the Chiefs are going to do what they need to do. I think this will be a good offensive game for the Chiefs with Mahomes and his receivers to get them heading in the right direction for the Chargers.
All right. LJ.
I'm going to go with 31-16 Chiefs. I think the Chiefs' offense is just too much for Atlanta. I think the Chiefs needed to establish the passing game a little bit this week. they'll just a little run, but with Pacheco being out and we're having to bring somebody in, I think the focus is going to shift back to the passing game, and I think we're going to see the Chiefs light up the scoreboard a little bit.
So that's funny that you guys say that, because I was going to come in here and say I think this is really a get-right game for the Chiefs. But seeing that you both think it is, it makes me more think of this is going to be a tight game. I do think I think it is a shock when you're replacing a player like Pacheco, and you don't know what your offense is going to be when you're counting on somebody like that. And then you're going to go into a game with a hungry team. So everybody in the NFL has talent. We just talked about some of the talent that they have. And we need to respect that they're an NFL team and that we're going to,
Our producer just put up a note that says the Chiefs right now are 4.5 favorites over Atlanta.
Well, that's good to know. That's what kind of threw me off. I was trying to read that, and I didn't know what to say. So, you never bet the Chiefs, so I'll take Atlanta. Chiefs are the worst bet.
You're taking Atlanta?
And the points, yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
Chiefs are horrible. Horrible to bet.
I think that was in the past. Last year they were pretty good against the spread, but in the past that they have been notoriously bad about covering. I don't know what they've done this year. I haven't really paid attention.
They haven't covered yet.
I was going to say, I don't think they've covered considering how close the games have been and how stressful they were. So I want to go with the Chiefs in the points because I picked that they would.
Well,
or given the points.
I'm definitely going Chiefs in the points.
All right.
Otherwise, I wouldn't have picked 27-17.
Right.
Well, I'm gonna take both of your bets after the show.
All right.
Well, that's about it for the second episode of Sportz Asylum. I'm here with LJ.
Yep, it was good to talk to you guys. Glad you stuck around. I hope to see you next week.
Yeah, ScottieK, did you have a good time?
I appreciate it. This was a ball. I had a lot of fun.
One word, unk.
Drop it like it's hot.
There is absolutely no way that was accidental.
Well, they say it's 7 steps. I don't use Instagram, but I was watching something and it said it takes actually 7 steps to go live on Instagram.
And then went on his show the next day and turned it into a Rose Sparks commercial.
I mean, it's amazing. He just comes out and he says, I'm just a man, and I was doing man things. And if you don't like it, fuck you. I mean, he said it a lot nicer, but That's basically what he said.
Yeah.
Yeah, the subscription to the little blue pill apparently is working for an older man.
I know. But that's so... I mean, it's got to be planned. I mean...
Absolutely.
Has to be planned.
Yeah, I mean... But I don't know. He's already popular enough. I mean, he's got Club Shay Shay is huge. You know what I mean? He's getting everybody he wants on his podcast. Why would he need more attention, especially like that? That's just my only thing. It's like he seems like a guy who wouldn't be a sex tape guy, but you never know.
Hey, if it dries up viewership to his podcast, we might have to consider something here. I mean, am I seeing a blueprint?
Right? Yeah, I mean... When in Rome, right?
Well, Scott, we'll let you run the Instagram account.
I have no problem filming it. We're going to need the action hero, though, and that's not me.
Same, ditto. Pete?
All right. Well, congrats, Unc. You got away with one, so here's to you, brother. Well, that's it for episode 2. Thanks for everybody for listening. Thank you, ScottieK, for joining us today.
I appreciate it. I look forward to coming back next week and talking more football with you guys, and I'm happy to be an inmate.
All right, LJ, as usual.
Yep, thanks, Pete. Thanks, ScottieK, for joining us, team. Inmates, be sure to subscribe and like.